Hello everyone, and welcome to another GIS lecture video. And today's lecture video is going to kick off our series talking about symbolization. So up to this point, we've been dealing primarily with spatial data in its sort of raw form. So we have points, lines, and polygons. But let's say that we want to differentiate points, lines, and polygons from each other to be able to give ourselves more information about what's going on. In other words, maybe we want to visualize the data that is being represented or variables that are being represented. And the way that we do that is we do that through a process called symbolization, where we use what are called visual variables to be able to pick and determine and differentiate between different data layers and different data types and different values for different variables. So what we're going to do in this video series is we're going to talk about two things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is going to be what are called levels of measurement. Levels of measurement being the different sort of categories of data. So we're going to talk about nominal data. We're going to talk about ordinal data. We're going to talk about interval data. And then we'll talk about ratio data. Ratio, not ratio. And in specific, breaking down the difference between qualitative and quantitative. Right, qualitative and quantitative. Because these four levels and these two broad categories are going to form the backbone of making decisions for the second thing that we're going to talk about, which are the visual variables. Now, as I said before, there are actually 9 visual variables, but we are going to only be talking about a few of them today because we are going to have an entire section dedicated to the idea of having different options for color. So we're going to be talking about the idea of spacing, arrangement, perspective, height, orientation, shape, size, and then finally the 3 for color. We're going to have hue, lightness, and saturation. The reason these 3 are at the end is these all have to do with color. And we're going to talk about these as a completely separate topic in a completely separate week, because understanding these 3 visual variables requires a deeper understanding of color. And these have their own entire set of maps that we'll be talking about later. So we're really going to focus on the levels of measurement and the first 6 visual variables, with a focus on when each of these are most useful relative to the levels of measurement, and talk about sort of how they're implemented and some things to be aware of when we implement them. So hopefully this all makes sense. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.